Our last storyteller is Yuji. Oh, there you are. Great. Yuji's also been in our online class, and he's going to do great.
I'm the last kid to come out of the classroom that day. I'm a sniveling mess. Crying because I'm embarrassed because I'm crying. I was in kindergarten. My best friend Hiromu meets me outside the door, takes one glance at my face, and then refuses to look at it again. Instead, he takes my hand, shoves it into my face, and says, "Boys don't cry. Wipe away those tears." When I got home from school that day, my mother scolded me for getting rivers of snot all over the sleeve of the blue kimono I'd worn to show and tell that day. I've never seen my father cry. I've never seen anyone male in my family cry. When I got the call from my mother, my senior year of college, that my grandfather had cancer, I did not cry then either. Instead, I immediately called my best friend to talk logistics. When was I going to fly back? Would I take my finals? Would I walk for graduation? I did not give myself time. We flew into Japan, and immediately we knew something was wrong. My grandmother had texted me. My grandmother is 78. She cannot text and really does not text. To make matters worse, none of us had a phone service that worked in Japan, so we're running from 7-Eleven to 7-Eleven trying to get on the free Wi-Fi to decipher this message. We eventually figure it out, everything is okay, and we meet them at the hospital. The next 2 weeks I spent in Japan were much the same, hectic. From the frequent visits to the hospital I'd have to make to the daily errands my grandmother would send me on. I swear, my grandmother had me going to the grocery store at least once a day. She has 2 fridges in the house. She really doesn't need me to do this. But we all have to stay busy in some way. My mother tells me that I'm supposed to spend as much time on my grandfather's side as possible so that through some sort of osmosis, I would be able to transfer my energy to him. My mother is smart. In those fleeting moments, I do think it worked. I do have to admit, it was impossible for me to keep a stoic, happy demeanor all the time. There was a lot of crying in those days. Sometimes in front of grandfather, most of the time hidden away. But those tears, those were not mine. Tears. They're kind of like yawns. They spread. Some people call this empathy. I think of it more as contagious. In those days, those were tears I cried in solidarity. Those were someone else's tears. Finally, the day came. I stood on the train platform, a train platform I stood on many times with my grandfather before as he bade me farewell back to the United States. As always, my mother got us there way too early, 4 minutes before the train I was even supposed to get on. I stood there on the platform, holding my grandfather's hand, trying to think of something to say, but everything I could think of felt like vomit coming back up. Instead, I watched the clock slowly make its way around. Internally, I hoped the time would go just a little bit faster to end this awkward moment. As soon as I saw the train in the distance, I knew I really wanted time to stop. The train pulled in, the doors opened. I frankly lugged all of my bags onto the train, dashed out one last time to squeeze my grandfather's hand, and as the doors were closing, ran back on board. I looked out the window and waved, leaning forward in the process, because somehow leaning forward helps keep the deluge at bay. I lasted all of about 10 seconds after they faded from view. At first, I cowered behind my hat, hiding my face from the hundreds of commuters with me that day. Soon, I said, fuck it, Let these people see my pain. For the first time, I was crying tears for myself, tears I have no shame in showing the world. Thank you.